Well, hello there, everybody. Thanks for joining me again. For today's video, I thought I would share my own top 10 list. Things I'm excited about seeing on the Camino, with a couple bonus ones, of course. So, I've talked a lot about personal reasons why I'm going to do it, but I haven't really shared what some of the cooler things are that I'm going to see along the way. It's not just me walking 500 miles through desert and mountains and stuff like that. There's a lot of awesome history on the Camino. So number one, this isn't necessarily in any particular order, but number one, a place I'm most excited to see is a place called Cruz de Ferro. Now, Cruz de Ferro is a place, it's probably like 80-90% of the way through the Camino Francés. As you can see in the picture, there's a lot of rocks, or there's a giant pile of rocks, and what pilgrims have done for many years is they've brought their own rock or stone or something to leave behind there. It's a place of significance for people to leave part of their life behind that isn't helping them or serving them in a way. And I already have my item picked out. It's technically a rock, but I'll reveal that at another time. I just walked up a hill, so you'll have to excuse my heavy breathing. But number two on my list is a place called the Burgos Cathedral. I mean, just look at this thing. It's awesome. One of the most beautiful cathedrals I'll probably ever see. So there's other things to do in Burgos. It's a really cool town, or city, I should say. But yeah, Burgos Cathedral has to be on my top 10 list. Just made it to the top of a hill. Check out that beautiful view. All right, number three. It's a place called Mirador Del Alto de Erreniega. I'll put the spelling below. This place looks really cool. It's after you make it through Pamplona, and there's like windmills, I think, up there, and the wind's really blowing. It's a cool spot where you can see Pamplona behind you and a lot ahead of you, and it's just, I don't know, looks like a really cool place. Very surreal in a sense. That's going to be one of the very first places, landmarks, if you will, that I'm excited to see. I'll know once I make it there that I'm well on my way. All right, number four on my list. It's a place called Mirador Del Alto de Mostelares. So you're getting a couple alto places here. This one, I believe, isn't far from a small town in the heart of the Meseta called the Castrojeriz, and you're on a pretty big hill or ridge where you can see a lot of the Meseta, and I believe Meseta means plateau. But yeah, it just looks like you're in the middle of nowhere, which to me is really cool. You kind of feel like you're Luke Skywalker and Tatooine in a place like this. So again, the Meseta is one area of the Camino I'm looking forward to walking through the most, because I think it'll just give me the time and space and quiet to be able to think and process. All right, number five on my list. It's a place called Muxía, or Faro de Muxía. It's Muxia. It's got a similar sound, spelling sort of deal as Oaxaca, where you get all your great tequila and mezcal. But Muxía is at the very end of the Camino. There's two places that you could really consider, well, three places you could consider the end. One could be the Santiago de Compostela, and that's where the cathedral is. A lot of people decide to stop there. Another place could be Finisterre. And Finisterre literally means end of the earth. I'm excited about going there. I didn't put them on the list, but I did put Muxía. Muxía is to the north. Number 6. Number 6 is the Monastery of Santa Maria la Reale. And this church or monastery just looks incredible. They have legit tombs of like knights or something there. It just looks really cool. And one of those places that you can dive into the history. And I don't know how old these tombs are that they have there. It looks like something out of an Indiana Jones movie. Are they all the way back from the Crusades? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out together. Number 7. Number 7 is a cool old church. It's been worn down. It's just in ruins, and people can actually stay there as an albergue option. But it's called San Anton, and I believe it's in Castrojeriz. This place just looks awesome. If it lines up, I'll stay there. But if the place is like in the middle of my walking route that day, I don't know. I might not sleep there. I might just skip it. But a lot of pilgrims recommend it because it's one of those old school albergues. There's no electricity. You're kind of sleeping in the elements. And some just say it's one of the coolest experiences you can have while on the Camino. Number 8 is a place called Osombrero. I hope I'm saying that right. This place looks like something out of a Hobbit movie. It's a bit further past Cruz de Ferro. I guess it's a kind of a touristy spot now, which is a shame, but it's one of those places where the church, there's a tiny church in this little village. It was struggling, and all of a sudden there was a miracle. And during the, gosh, my dad were alive, he would kill me for not knowing this. What's it called when the Eucharist, when they bless it? The consecration, I believe. During Catholic masses, everyone kneels, at least at the good old school Catholic churches. But one day, story has it, the Eucharist turned to actual flesh, and they have it on display there. On to number 9. Number 9 is a slight detour off the main Camino. It adds like an extra 2 miles, but if you're already doing 500, why the heck not? It's a church called St. Mary of Wanade. Probably saying that wrong. But it's this cool little circle church. And I don't know, just looks pretty neat. Let's do a couple honorable mentions before I mention number 10. I am really excited about seeing and meeting all the new people and friends along the way. I am sure I'm gonna meet some awesome fellow pilgrims and have no idea who or what to expect, and I think that's always a lot of fun. When I've done similar travels before, that's probably one of the best parts of traveling that I've learned. And the other honorable mention is a place in Irache. I think I'm saying that right. Bodegas Irache. Basically, it's a wine fountain. There is a legit wine fountain, just like a drinking fountain, that is on the trail. You have to get there after 9 a.m. But if you want, you can get a free tasting of wine, and people will fill up their Camino shell and drink out of it for a free tasting of wine from Irache. That sounds pretty cool. On to number 10. And before I get into number 10, I just reviewed all the video footage and found out that when I combine more than 2 videos, it cuts off a little bit at the end. You weren't really missing too much extra explanation, but if you're like, what was he about to say? Yeah, it's this is part of learning how to do this stuff. Number 10, it's pretty obvious. It's Santiago de Compostela. Santiago, St. James, Compostela, Field of Stars. The Field of Stars, or the shooting star, where they discovered the remains of St. James. And I mean, how can that not be on the top 10 list. It means that you have finished what many consider to be the actual Camino, and it's where all the different Camino routes converge. And the church itself just looks absolutely amazing. Looking at other cathedrals on the route, the Burgos Church, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit more excited about seeing that one. And there's another famous church in Spain, can't remember the name of it right now, that I think is in Madrid. It's a church that's been taking like 500 years to build, but this church is where everyone meets from all the different routes: the Camino Portugal, Del Norte, Francés, Primitivo. And lastly, there's a lot of cool things to see inside the church. There is this giant incense thing they swing from the rafters. If you've been to a Catholic Mass, you know what this thing looks like and smells like. This one's huge, and it takes like a group of monks to swing this thing on ropes over the congregation. It's pretty cool. They have the silver box where they keep all the remains of St. James, and a statue of St. James up and above the altar that you can take some stairs to, where people kiss it, hug it, and do other sorts of weird stuff. Anyways, thanks for coming along with me on the walk today. Hope you all are doing well wherever you are viewing from, and buen camino.